Good afternoon, everyone. This is Holly Vega with Military Heart Matters, but today we're doing Heart to Heart with Holly, and I'm so happy to have my dear, dear friend Elizabeth Shaw, a Navy spouse, sister of love. We have a lot of things that that I have to say gratitude for today, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But Elizabeth is going to give us some healthy tips, tell us who she is, a little background behind her, and we're going to talk about some couscous. Couscous, yep. She's going to give us some about how to make something, maybe something yummy and refreshing, because we're coming on those summer months and we want something healthy and good. So, Elizabeth, I'm passing it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Holly, for having me here. I was very excited when you asked me to join. You know, I love the work you're doing, and just to make people healthier and really focusing in on that military community who sometimes get left behind. I mean, we've heard all the issues with the VA and stuff. So, I really appreciate the advocacy work you're doing. I think, advocacy is so important. It's a little bit about me. I actually work in advocacy full time. And I work for the American College of Cardiology. So I think that's one of the things that kind of helped us connect is that aspect of your involvement with the American Heart Association and then my work at the ACC. So, I've been there 10 years, and I've always had a strong desire to help others, especially, when it comes to their health. Heart disease runs in my family. My grandfather died from a heart attack. I mean, my aunt has a defibrillator. It runs in my family. So it is definitely something I'm passionate about. Over my probably like the last 2-3 years, I've become even more passionate about becoming healthier overall, not just your heart, but like the whole you. And that's mostly just my own personal health journey that's kind of brought me there. But it kind of started with that, with hearts, really. It's kind of where it started. So, I'm happy to talk more about, my health journey, or where do you want to go next?
So I want to say thank you, because Military Heart Matters started because of Dr. Worsel's husband, Lieutenant Colonel Worsel, having a heart attack and unfortunately passing away. He will always be my starting point, because my brother had a heart attack, but her story and her why and all that shifted me in this direction. And then, like you said, being able to tell that story, it opened up a whole slew of windows and everything back in 2013 I called myself like the little silent heart whisperer, where people would start talking to me and realizing there was such a need. But back in 2017, all of a sudden we got orders to Tampa, and you and Lindsay were the ones who, because I'm like, I'm no longer in my zone, right? I'm not in my Marine Corps atmosphere anymore. I am over here at Air Force Base. And how do you still stay connected? And sometimes I always say, I don't say change, I call it pivot. You have to pivot, right? Because that doesn't mean that you can't pivot back to what you want to do, but you pivot and you make things happen in a different way that will work for you. And so you and I remember Lindsay saying, well, you had said, Holly, reach out to the American Heart Association. You already have that in other places, but theirs is really connected. Sure. And then Lindsay had posted, they were doing their Go Red, which you're just seeing that because everybody starts gearing up for the Go Red now for coming February. And they were talking about like their luncheon and all that. She sent me a link, and that stirred a lot of wonderful stuff in Tampa. So I have to keep saying thank you to the people, because I'm here because of you, you know. And so thank you for putting me in that direction, because my relationship with them down in Tampa and everything that we've been able to do, because of that came because y'all sent me a link. And it's always those girlfriends, right? There's special people in your life who send you things that maybe you weren't looking at. So I say, if a girlfriend sends you something, look at it, take it, and you never know where it's going to go. So thank you for that. And where I want to go next is, I know you have always been very healthy, but one of the things that was challenging is that you have been pregnant. And you're pregnant again. And I know that this is something you have shared publicly, your kind of journey from that first pregnancy, which happens a lot, We
Mhm.
gain maybe not the weight that we ideally would think, but we are that first pregnancy and, it's okay, or feel. And then I look at your pictures and I think you were not a very heavy person, but you know what? That is to his and her own right. We all have to feel comfortable. And then by the time your second pregnancy, you learned some better ways that would make you healthier and happier. And by this pregnancy, you don't even look like you're pregnant. You're like going out, you're running, you're exercising. And so I would love to hear how that part of your journey, because I know that we have a lot of mommies and pregnant right now, and heart disease does run a lot within our pregnancies and when they find out. And so I would love to hear anything that you have on that.
Yes. So that is kind of my, helping others, advocating for others has always been kind of in my DNA, I'd say. I started off working on campaigns and then kind of, now work for a medical nonprofit. But, I think that I have been, like most moms, I have been bad about neglecting myself at times. And it really kind of came to a point when in 2016, I had a ectopic pregnancy. We lost the baby at 8 weeks, and I like my health just kind of, I was not in great health to begin with, but it became even worse. And I struggled with infertility for like a year and a half after that. And, surprisingly, after doing some fertility medicine, we got pregnant with my daughter. And I think there was so much, because I had lost one, I think there's so much anxiety in that pregnancy and so much fear that I did not treat my body well. I just ate whatever I wanted. I didn't work out because I was just so stressed and anxious, but then, so we had Sophia. It was a wonderful pregnancy. And I breastfed her for a year, and I'm very, it's, that was a journey within itself. But after that year, my husband was deployed, and I was like, I am just like, you all know, like, when your spouse is deployed, you can go one of two ways. You can really like lean into like taking care of yourself and like killing it, or you can kind of go the opposite and like completely abandon yourself. And I think I'd gotten to the point where that's where I was. And I was like, this is not sustainable. Like, I can't do this for 7 months. So I found the faster way. Just through a friend, really. I saw her amazing results and was like, you know what? I've tried everything else out there. Why don't I try it? And had amazing results because of it. And, I have PCOS, which means that my weight has pretty much fluctuated my whole entire life. It just does. And it's always been something I've struggled with because of that. And but I had amazing results. And then the day my husband, I'm getting very personal with y'all here. The day my husband came home, I got pregnant. And I was like, what? This is weird. Like, I struggled for like a year and a half. Like, what's going on? And so that pregnancy, I was like, okay, I was a little more confident in myself. I was already starting at a healthier point. And so, I did lots of walking. I did not eat healthy. I will say that. Too much pizza, too many donuts. But I was kind of starting at a healthier point, so it went better. But then, you always think something's a fluke, like just a coincidence. So then this time around, we decided we wanted to have a third. And I also, was like, I'm not in the most ideal health position I would like to be in. So I did the faster way again and got pregnant immediately again. And I was like, okay, like this is not a coincidence. This is not a fluke. Like this is what I meant to do. This is how I'm supposed to live like the rest of my life. So this pregnancy, I've been very diligent about trying to eat healthy, trying to work out. And like, there's days my cravings get the best of me and I do eat that donut. And there are days that I just cannot get myself out of bed to do that workout. But I try to do at minimum like 3 days a week of some type of working out, strength training most of the time. and just eating healthier, because, I've realized that it is a priority. I need to make myself a priority. Like, I need to show my children that this is important, because it is. Like, I have seen the results of it. So, I think that's kind of my journey, and like my key takeaway that I hope to impart to people when I talk about this is that you, as a mom, as a person, deserve to be healthy. You deserve it, and you deserve to take that 30 minutes of a day for yourself. Because in the long run, you're going to benefit from it. I know my heart is healthier. My digestion is healthier. My insides are healthier because I'm taking better care of my body.
So I want to say it's very commendable, because you talk about something very personal. One is the loss of a baby. And we have many, many, many spouses who have lost a baby. And it's very hard to talk about that. Or they can't get pregnant. And that's your other thing that you talked about. And we have to deal with infertility. And, some people don't have that aspiration to be a parent, but there are many that do. And when you cannot have a baby, then there's a lot that goes on with that.
Yeah.
And for you to be able to do other things that took care of yourself, because we forget about that through all of that. It's an emotional roller coaster. And then you throw in a deployment, and you throw in all the other stress factors, and your body is like a yo-yo, and it's going. And I don't think a lot of people realize that how much, not that this is not, because this happens within all sectors. It's not a military spouse issue. But what we have that it makes us connected together is that deployment cycle. And things like that are on top of already infertility or stress of job, trying to balance a life of, if you already have kids, on top of trying to find a way to eat healthy. And then you deal with the deployment on top of that. So you found something that, and your key thing that you said I love is to take care of yourself. And we forget to do that. To take care of ourselves is so important to remember that if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of anything else. And I'm a believer that household goes down. And so Gina Thurman says now she wants you to tell her about the faster way.
Okay. Yeah. So it is. So I'd say the biggest component is intermittent fasting, which when you first hear that is a little scary. I will admit. But essentially it's an eating window. So like, for instance, when I'm not pregnant, I usually do 16-8. So that means I eat for 8 hours of the day, and then I fast for 16 hours of the day. Now, when I'm pregnant, I do it 12-12. So I still am fasting, just not as long. And the reason for that is because it gives your body digestive rest, which, Americans don't do. Most Americans, don't quit eating till they go to bed, and they eat as soon as they get up. And your body never has rest. Your body's never allowed to rest. And because of that, like, your body's never allowed to heal itself from the inside out. And so that is probably the biggest component of the program. And, where people see the most results, is their digestive health, because of that rest that you're giving your body. That's the biggest component. And then obviously we focus on nutrition and working out. And the thing I liked about the nutrition is it's stuff that you can find in any grocery store. It wasn't like, here, take this pill, take this shake. It's literally like, go to the grocery store, buy these staples, eat them. And, that's how you become healthier. And same with the workouts. Like, I've been there. I've spent an hour doing cardio, either on the elliptical or in the gym, and just seeing like nothing changing. And so the workouts are very targeted, 20 to 30 minutes, which, I mean, for moms is like, hey, I can do that. So that was these were kind of the things that sold me on it. is really that, it's stuff that I could feed my children, and it's workouts that I can do even while the children are playing beside me, because it's 20, 30 minutes. So that's kind of, I would say, kind of the three components about the program. I mean, there's more about it. We focus on getting carbohydrates, and then, like carb cycling, that sort of thing. But those, I would say, is the majority of like the key takeaways is, make sure you're fueling your body, you're moving your body, and that you're giving your body rest.
So what are the where can they find this? Can you send us a link so that we can put the link up and put all the information? Yes. Gina had that same question. I believe when Ashley was watching, she said, yes to your taking care of yourself. So with the food, though, you're going to give us some things. I was talking about couscous, so I don't want to advertise, but I do love some HelloFresh. I'm not their promoter or anything else. It's just that it works for my family. And I got this, it's called Israel Couscous. So I said to Elizabeth, last night I was actually making dinner, and we were talking, and she was watching me cook my dinner. And I'm like, can you tell me how to do this Israel Couscous, and what's the difference?
Yeah.
Couscous.
Yeah. So couscous is a Mediterranean grain, or that's where it's served most, is in the Med. My husband grew up in the Balkans, so he loves stuff like that. We do Mediterranean pretty often. I'd say like once a week at least. But it's very similar to quinoa. Personally, I like it slightly better because it's a bigger grain. I just think it has more flavor than quinoa. But any Mediterranean dish works well with it. I actually found one on American Heart Association that Holly or me can post for you all, but I'll just kind of tell you the ingredients of it real quick. Sorry, I'm looking here. So you have the couscous, obviously, cucumbers, you have grapes, so it's very fresh, it's a salad. You can do some green onions, and because you are also going to add in olives and feta cheese, it's already got a little salt, so you don't really need to add any more salt, and that obviously makes it a little bit heart healthier if you kind of cut out some of that salt. And the other thing that's great for protein, and if you want to try to keep it more plant-based, is it has chickpeas. So that gets your protein in there. And then it also comes with olive oil, which is heart healthy. That's a healthy fat that people need to consume. And you got a little bit of lemon juice as well. So it's a pretty easy recipe. I mean, as far as cooking couscous, you cook it like you would just quinoa, really. So, you add water, it fluffs up, whatever seasonings you like to put in, rice or quinoa, feel free to do that. But yeah, I like to cook with it, and it's very fresh tasting, and it's great for Mediterranean dishes. Another good one, if you're not wanting a salad, if you're not wanting to, do plant-based, it's great with like as a side to kebabs. So like, whether it's chicken kebab, lamb kebab, that's another great way to eat it.
Thank you very, very much. So is there anything else that you feel that you would love to share, especially because I know that FAST is something that you truly believe in, and that it's a program that has worked for you and for many other people.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, I think that, so I have a couple things, but the number one thing that I think that people get bogged down with is not seeing, they think that it should be perfect. They think that it should be, you start this diet program, you lose tons of weight, and there you go, like check mark it off your box, and that's just not the way it is. People have told me like, oh my gosh, you look great, da da da. But it took me about, like, I've calculated it. It took me about 16 to 18 weeks to get to what I consider, me personally, my personal goals, and my personal like weight and health. like 18 weeks. Like, this is not a quick fix. Becoming healthy and living healthy is not quick fix. It's a long-term thing. And but so we really talk about progress over perfection. As kind of a key term that we say a lot. And if you do the program with me, you would hear me say it often. And that is another thing that I really loved about the program, is that if you fall off the horse one day, you can kind of get back on it the next day. And that's what makes it sustainable. Every Saturday is our treat day. So we actually, another one of our slogans is somewhere between a juice cleanse and a donut. And it's because we know that there's going to be birthdays, there's going to be holidays, there's going to be celebrations in life. And a lot of times food is involved. And, like, what's the joy in never, ever enjoying, like, you say you go to another country, and you want to enjoy their culture, like immersing yourself in their food is part of it. And, so, we take that into consideration. So every Saturday you get a treat. Most of the time we do try to eat, not processed, cut out dairy, cut out gluten, but every Saturday you get that treat so that, again, this becomes something that you do for life, not just 6 weeks, 8 weeks. So I'd say that's probably like one of my number one things that I love about the program is, first trimester, that was just survival, right? Like, you're just eating what you can that's not going to make you feel sick, right?
Right.
And so, and I felt guilty at times because I was like, leafy greens just do not appeal to me right now. And, and I was like, you know what, though, I'll hit it hard once I know the second trimester comes around. And I have been able to, and I've been able to stay healthy because of that mindset too. I didn't let myself get so bogged down with failing, I guess you could say, that, I couldn't come back from it. So I definitely say that's like number one. Another key takeaway is that, like, your health is a journey. It's not a quick fix. It's just not. So, I encourage people that if you are doing something every day to make yourself a little bit better, whether that's you go for a walk outside with your children, or, you take care of yourself mentally, like, that is progress, and you're going to become a happier, healthier person because of that.
And on top of that, then your heart is healthy, heart healthy and happy.
Oh yeah, because stuff like that reduces your stress, and that is a huge heart risk factor, obviously, is stress. And I have a couple foods that I've kind of like identified as like top 5 that you should try to incorporate for heart healthy, that I can run through real quick if you want me to.
Yeah. Run through them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I want people to remember that this is not a diet pill. It's not a shake. Nothing's perfect. You have said it more than one time. This is a way of living. This is for journey forever. This is not something that we keep changing. And this is not advertisement appeals and stuff like that. Not saying that works for you. Yeah, that's your choice. That's your choice. And so I never want to say anything about anyone, because, everyone has their own choice. But everything plant-based is, we talked about last night, and I said, if it's grown in my backyard, it's healthy for my heart. Yeah. And because it comes back to the backyard, everything that's grown in your yard goes in, and it helps your digestion because of the way it is breaking things down.
Oh yeah. All those vitamins and antioxidants and nutrients. Yes. And, another thing we like to say, if it comes from the ground, if it has a mother, that's where you want to stay. So like that outer rim of the grocery store, that's where you want to kind of stay, honestly. Try to the middle aisles if possible.
So give us those recipes, or the 5 things.
So obviously leafy greens. I mean, that is definitely something you should try to incorporate. I mean, if you can, every day. If you can't, definitely try to get them in a couple times a week. Why? They reduce blood pressure. And, they improve arterial function. So obviously those 2 things are very good for your heart. They obviously have other benefits too. Digestion, that's one thing that my mom, who's in her 60s, mid 60s, she started the program, and she's been able to go off fiber because she's getting those leafy greens in consistently. And actually I have, it's funny that this kind of happened the same week. My VIP group is doing like a salad challenge this week, that I've kind of put together some different salads for them to try out every day. And so I'm happy to share that too here. If people are interested.
You can go in and put all the links.
Okay.
All the information.
Yeah. And then other thing is whole grains. So they lower cholesterol. And I think that there's such, especially with keto, right? There's this negative connotation. I mean, some people keto works great for, and especially if you have diabetes, I know that it's a lifestyle, right? But for the large majority of Americans and humans, we do need to consume carbs, and especially whole grains. And that doesn't mean, we're not talking about bread here. We're talking about like oats, and we're talking about quinoa or couscous. We're talking about brown rice. Those whole grains actually do lower cholesterol and are good for you. So in the faster way, like I said, we do carb cycling. So we do 2 low carb days, Monday, Tuesday, but the rest of the week we consume carbs because they are important. And I don't know, like that's something I know for myself, especially with having PCOS. Like if I don't consume carbs, like my hormones are like all out of whack.
And I think you said it really well, that a lot of people think that means bread, pasta, things like that. No, that's not always. Yes, they are carbs, but that's not always. That would be your Saturday choice.
Yeah.
That would be your Saturday choice. And then the rest of the week, again, couscous, and other things, that same carbs, but in a different, healthier way. And they serve a different purpose.
Oh yeah. And there's still like, here's the thing so my sister's boyfriend had come into this, and my sister too, they came in together, keep each other accountable. And, there's lots of people that come into this that are picky. And that's just something that I try to encourage people is just try these things, try to switch out, like instead of bread, try to switch it out with a healthy grain, see what you think. Season it all up, do it all up. And, maybe eventually you'll get to the point where you choose those over the more processed grains. So the grains is another good one. Another good one, we're going to stick along with the carbs here, is berries. Mm-hmm. They're rich in antioxidants. Me and my husband joke about berries and fruit in this house. I have toddlers, and he jokes that, one of these days, if we live near a tropical place, we're just going to buy the bunch of bananas, just the whole, like monkeys, because we go through so many. Like each week, I feel like I buy more, and it's never enough, And that's the same for berries in this house too. We go through them quite quickly, and if berries aren't necessarily your kind of favorite, try to put them in a smoothie, disguise them, hide them from yourself. I know that works for some people because it's just maybe the texture issue. So avocados are a great one. Avocados are wonderful for really everything. Great healthy fat, but they also lower your cholesterol, blood pressure, help with the metabolism. And
this is not guacamole, people. Guacamole's great. That doesn't service your avocado. I have to say that because a lot of people, I love guacamole. And I'm like, no, they mean like actually scoop the avocado and eat the avocado. It's great. A little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper. So yummy.
I will say though, again, if you have to start with guacamole and kind of work your way
back the natural way.
That's okay. That's okay. Again, progress over perfection is what we're here for, right?
We need to look at that. I'm sure there is some way. Maybe you use low-fat yogurt instead of mayonnaise.
Oh yeah, you can definitely make healthy guacamole for sure. Yeah.
There's look at that one.
There's so many substitutes out there these days for dairy and for grains, honestly, that actually taste kind of good. That you can use. We use a lot of different milks in this house, so that's another good. Fatty fish, obviously, if you are not doing plant-based. For your heart, fatty fish is a good one. It has the omega-3 fatty acids, which help reduce heart risk. And And I try probably eat fish, even while pregnant. I at least eat it once a week. Sometime
And
maybe.
what fish do you eat? What is a good fatty fish?
We do salmon a lot. Because also if you're pregnant, it's good for a baby's heart too. Baby's heart and baby's brain. What the omega-3s are. So we do that. But I also, I mean, really any white fish. I try to stay away from like the larger ones because that has like obviously the more mercury. But you know, your smaller white flaky fish is great. And you can really sub it out for any dish, you know, like instead of having those two sides and that beef, sub it out for a fish. And, you know, don't be afraid to get creative with it. Like, do it on the grill, do it in the air fryer, bake it. You know, I mean, you know, get creative. You don't have to just do like one way, you know. Yeah, and I'd say those are probably like my top 5 like healthy foods that if you can incorporate them into your diet weekly, it's good for your heart. And you know, I think that the last thing that I wanted to talk about is heart healthy like workouts. Obviously cardio is great, get your heart rate up, that sort of thing, good for the heart. If you're like me and you don't like to run, which I don't, you know, I think I always thought I liked to run, but I didn't. I just made myself. If you're like me though, there's other ways to get your heart rate up and still get that cardio in without feeling like you need to hit the pavement. Obviously cycling's a great one, swimming's a great one, but if you are into more strength training, like I kind of enjoy more, HIIT, which is high intensity interval training, is will definitely get your heart rate up. And the great thing about those is you can do that for like 20 minutes and still see like the same results as running for an hour. So, yeah, so it's definitely like you don't have to you don't have to follow some thing that says do this, do that. Like again, each day you're trying to be better, you're doing something better like that, then you're going to become healthier because you know you're working towards it.
That the HIIT is something that's really big on the bases too right now. So if you are near an installation and you're able to go to a gym, and I'm sure all the gyms out in town are the same way because that's a really, it's a big program at this moment and being advertised. But I think that you say it really well. You know, not running is not everything for everyone. A lot of runners say that they run because that is like for them for tranquil. And that's how they get their stress release. So if that is what you do, please do that because mental health is the most important thing. For me, I am not a runner. I love exercise classes because I am everybody knows I'm an extrovert, but the introvert. So that extrovert part of me is like your accountability, right? Someone's counting for me. I've got to be in that class and let's go shake it and the music and feel it all through the body and let's go. And I think that like when your kids are out, my biggest thing was going to a track because the kids run in the middle and it's a safe place. Because I think a lot of us worry about that. Where can we exercise with our children? I mean, my spouse is always gone. He's now in a different job that he's not. But up until this move, he was always gone. And so trying to find that balance between being able to exercise somewhere with 3 kids, right? So my boys would do soccer. They can go throw the football around. My daughter would be able to run because I'm in a great area track. And I know that you believe in the track too because I've seen lots of pictures of you on the track. And I think that keeps you accountable, right? Because you can walk those laps and you kind of I see an end to the beginning. Like I'm stopping and then I'm starting and I'm stopping and starting. Compared to running, it's just it's not for me either. But you runners, I am so proud of you. You go ahead.
Yeah, I know, right? My husband's a runner. I mean,
I'm your water bottle and granola bar girl. That's what I'm going to give you at the end. I'm that best one that's going to hand you all that good stuff at the end of the run. Not running.
Yeah, like you said, getting your body moving and whatever works for you and in your time, that period of your life too, because that's going to change too. So, you know, that's what's most important, you know, I mean, and honestly, 80% of becoming healthier when you're talking about like the physical aspect is nutrition. So, you know, if there's just those days where that is, you know, your workout is chasing kids up and down the stairs, then that's it, you know.
Chase them up and down the stairs. Put the timer on and let it go up and down. It can be a nice actually game if you think about it. So create it as a game. Well, thank you, Elizabeth, very much for coming and speaking. And we're going to drop all those recipes, tips, and link for FAST. And thank you so much. I'm so excited about baby number 3.
Oh my God, us too. It's gonna be crazy up in here, but it's fun.
It's nice to see when you see your friends didn't have a family. Well, I shouldn't say that, because you did have a family. You had a husband and you have dogs and things like that. But you create a different part of your family, a different chapter of having little ones come and join. And I've seen you go from none to now almost 3.
No, journey.
Well, have a very blessed day, and thank y'all for joining with Heart to Heart with Holly, and I'll see y'all next Tuesday. Thanks.